Wow, that was a great start to this episode.
Excellent
Greetings
stuff.
and welcome to another episode of Soul Citizen. This is episode 112. We're talking about the Shipyard, the Shipyard series, Drake Interplanetary. I'll get it right eventually. Today I'm joined with my co-host. Kalrati. Kalrati, how are you doing?
What up, Twitch? What up, Soul Citizens crew? It's great to be here. It's great to be with the original fastcart. Yeah. Oh boy, I hope I survive this night. And it's great to be with the infamous Paul Shelley.
And speaking of Paul Shelley, yes, we're joined today by Paul, TheAstroPub Shelley, also the Lord Master. But, you know, he'll always be Berserker 01 to me. How many names of title have you had?
I have more titles than the King of Spain. That's all I know.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
And how are you doing? Where can people find you?
Hi, my name is Paul Berserker 1 Batman Shelley. I am the host of the AstroPub on Twitch, the AstroPub Live on YouTube. The Astro Historian on YouTube is now, because I split my YouTube into two, so you can find lore on the Historian channel, and the live channel can see all my other stuff. You can find me live on Twitch Thursday through Sunday, and I do a bunch of different content, mostly Star Citizen based, and Star Citizen lore, and you can find fastcart on there. We'll have to get Kalrati on one of them to talk a little bit. So
that'll be an interesting episode. I'll tune in for that one. No,
Thanks for the subscription.
Thanks everybody for the subscription. The Big Back Gaming. Thank you for the time stuff. Thank you for everyone for following. And hello all the new people joining us from the TheAstroPub channel. But first we just watched a video from Starjump. I think that's one of the first videos that I've ever seen from Starjump. That was the Drake Interplanetary video by them. I haven't seen that in ages. It brought back memories. I want to say it's a few years old. Do you remember the first time you saw that? What did you think?
But me? Okay, yeah. I was lucky enough that that Grim reached out to me before it was released and showed it to me, some of the earliest ones to it, because he was like, I really want you to see what this is. So I saw it. I was like, this is really cool. This is very, very cool. I mean, it's Starjump, so everything they do is very, very, like, the stuff they do is very difficult to do, and it's very cool looking. So it was very nice to see that. I think it was their first real big work too, and it's released around
I think so.
IAE, so that was great.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
Thank you for the subscription from Face-to-Face. Appreciate it. Kalrati, how about you? What do you think of this Starjump video? Have you seen it before? Did your first time?
Yeah, this is my second time seeing it, and I always get pumped by the music that they chose, the the arrangements of the assets of the models. They've done some excellent work. Starjump has, and it's always refreshing to see those videos still being sustainable, still being out there, still pulling people in, still getting them engaged. And I'm really looking forward to to seeing more of their work. It's been really great. And yeah, like Paul said, it's definitely some difficult stuff. I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. So it's really appreciative, seeing the kind of work that they're putting out there for the community.
So Paul, would you consider yourself one of the OG Star Citizen streamers now?
Apparently I am.
Started around 2015.
Yeah, I started around 2015, 2014 actually, towards the end of 2014, when the dogfight module was first released, the Arena Commander. But that was under my old name. But yeah, I've been around, I guess now, I don't know how many of the years that is, too many.
Quite a few. You'll be really old and dog here, put it that way.
Yes. So yeah, I guess I consider myself one of the OG streamers. So OG content creators for Star Citizen now.
By the way, I know you're normally about branding, but today I decided to be a snob wearing my chairman shirt. I guess I'm a Mexican snob now, so that's a thing.
Of course.
So, Paul, give us a short history of Drake Interplanetary. I'll say it eventually.
All right. So you can't talk about Drake without talking about Magnus. And it's appropriate you're talking about Drake because on the Soul Citizens, because Magnus is the most soulful system in the entire of Star Citizen, because it is Space Detroit. It is 100% Space Detroit. So it was this big system that was controlled by the UEE for a very long time. The Navy had claimed it, and they had built most of the Navy ships there for much of human history. And when they switched the headquarters from there to Killian, the headquarters the Magnus became abandoned because they had never been allowed to really develop outside of the military. So they had these huge shipyards that were building nothing, and they weren't even allowed to like develop, when the military was there. And they just kind of upped and abandoned them. So the economy sort of collapsed in the system, and eventually they started to claw stuff back. But there's some very bitter taste in people's mouths who live in Magnus because the UAE abandoned them without any warning, just because they could. So around that same time, when Magnus was struggling, a group of people decided they were going to enter a contest for a possible future fighter. The UAE needed a fighter that could be used by militia and by troops in the very front lines, who may not have a lot of access to resources. Something that could be fixed pretty quickly and maintained easily and have a decent ability to fight. So they put this call out, and
Thanks for the follow.
Headed by a woman named Jan Dredge, put together what we know today as the Cutlass. And they didn't win the contest from the UAE. And because of that, they said, you know what, this is a really good ship. We can sell this to the people in the frontier who need this sorts of rugged stuff anyways. So they decided to found a company. And they decided on the name Drake Interplanetary because Drake Interplanetary sounded cool. It sounded best. There was no real reason why they're named Drake. They just said it sounded good, so let's do it. They're very practical. And they decided to kind of lean into this reputation because the UAE rejected their design and decided to, and also because there's lots of cheap land in Magnus, they bought up a bunch of land in Magnus and opened up their headquarters and their production facilities on Magnus. And while it didn't save Magnus, the system itself, it did boost up the economy significantly. So a lot of people got back to work building Drake ships. And again, because there's a lot of really talented people who were building military ships before then, there's a lot of people who had these skills, so they got to work building Drake ships, and there was just tons of Drake ships everywhere. And within, I think, 3 years, Drake was competing with RSI in terms of sales. So, they did pretty well. The only thing that you got to know about Drake is that since then, pretty much everything they've built is a Cutlass. Doesn't matter what it is, it's a Cutlass. It's a Cutlass, but different. The Caterpillar, it's a Cutlass. The Buccaneer, it's a Cutlass. The Kraken, it's a Cutlass. It's just Cutlass with other things.
Is the Drake Mule a Cutlass?
Yes, the Drake Mule is a Cutlass with wheels.
The Dragonfly Cutlass.
Mule?
Yeah.
Okay, I just called it a Mule.
It's the thing. The reason why they the joke is that they reuse all their parts. So like everything, like all the parts that you see in like the Mule is also parts that would go into a Cutlass.
Okay. All right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Drake is one of the OG manufacturers that outside of Lord, like when the Kickstarter started, they had Origin, RSI, Mist, and Drake, correct?
Yeah, Drake was the oldest backer group in the original thing, because you had the Cutlass, which was the original.
That was called the Power Package or something.
Yes, the Loot and Scoot package is what it was called.
Right.
Thanks for the follow.
The what was the other one? The Caterpillar was described as the evil freelancer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Cool. So yeah, Mustang came after the Kickstarter, am I correct? So yeah, Drake is like really old.
Yeah, okay. It's 2012, one of the original 5. So
wow,
cool. All right, so thank you for that. I think we have a video from the Star Citizen 2048 Interplanetary, Drake Interplanetary video, so we can talk over this while it's running. But do you remember? Well, this is like what, 4 years ago.
I love this one. Yeah, this is the infamous poll one, the one where they.
Oh,
yeah, there's no talking over this one. Sorry, no talking.
Okay, no talking.
So Drake Interplanetary, it's our 5th day of our anniversary promotion. Drake Interplanetary has what, like 12 ships in the Drake lineup. There's 8 that are flyable now in our free fly promotion. When I say Drake Interplanetary to each one of you, what's the first word that comes to mind?
Versatility.
Versatility.
Cheapness.
Cheapness.
Yeah.
As in cost or
As in
quality or?
All of those things. Like, they are not particularly strongly built. They're built to a budget.
These guys make Drake ships. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. There's some. If I could count how many screws and nuts and bolts and
They're like this
rafters and
table.
girders are in there.
Wires and cables.
It's not that it's cheap or weak. It's just they don't care about you bumping your head on that stuff, so they don't cover it up with airbags and nice plastic panels. They pass the savings on to you with manufacturing cost cuts. It's cheap in that regard, yes.
Elwin's got something to say on this. Elwin, you figured out you helped develop the entire style guide for Drake ships when you did the Drake Caterpillar, right?
Well, not the entire style guide. Obviously, we were
Most.
working with. We just happened to be the first ones to build a ship with a Drake ship with a substantial interior that established the style guide going forward. And we decided to use shape language that just suggested that you were in a dangerous environment. So the idea was to make it feel like you're in an active construction zone. Right? Does it feel like, as if I'm walking down this hallway, I need to feel as though part of the wall is about to collapse on me? If you go to one of the cargo modules in the Caterpillar, you'll notice that we've exposed all the mechanisms for the door, so anyone can stick their arm in there and just lose it if they wanted to.
Function over form, girders,
That's a good one. I like
bolts,
that one.
Rafters, like every trellis beam is visible.
And that's not just a Caterpillar, that's all Drake ships.
Yeah.
Function over
Yeah.
form, I think you nailed it right there. That's one of the reasons I think I relate to Drake so much.
But I think it goes a little bit further than that. I really do think it's like, no, this is just a hazardous environment. We have.
They're not robust.
They're not. And
There's no safety equipment.
the idea is I'm going to get into the ship at
ejection
my
seats.
own risk, essentially.
I feel uncomfortable when I go in a Drake ship. I feel like I want to spend the minimum amount of time
Right.
in here because it's gonna.
I feel like
Look,
Drake
someone's
ships are
gonna kill me
lived in. I want to spend all my time in a Drake ship. I go into a Drake ship, and I that's what I relate to. It's this function over form thing. I instantly feel at home in a Drake ship. You don't get that.
Says a lot about.
I think it says a lot about you.
I just like safety.
Right. Not every ship is going to be for every player.
No.
Who's the Caterpillar for?
Caterpillars for the cargo haulers and the traders. So it's got a great cargo capacity.
It's got a wonderful cargo.
Yeah,
capacity.
and it's those easy access clamshell doors means you can get stuff in and out. I've seen some enterprising use of weaponry inside those cargo doors.
That's right, because it's got the side doors that you
Yeah.
can open up and
Seen-
you can fire out.
Like 5-6 Cyclone TRs in there. Just open the doors and just all the Gatlings come out like
That is awesome.
like a pirate ship. There's all these
a pirate
cannons.
ship.
But
With that, it's almost like a broadside, like
Yeah.
an old school pirate ship
Yeah.
broadside. Now, we talked a bit about piracy before we got started here, and the Drake Caterpillar is one of the limited ships that are available during the anniversary promotion going on right now. But there's a second Caterpillar that's available. You don't see it if you just go to the website. You actually have to participate in Pirate Swarm, which is well, tell us what Pirate Swarm is.
So Pirate Storm is one of our Arena Commander game modes. So it's essentially you versus waves of AI. So we have Vandal Swarm, which is you versus waves of like Vandal. Pirate Swarm is the pirate version of that. So you're against a variety of just pirate AI ships, and you just have to clear the waves. Each wave gets progressively harder. There's a couple of like boss waves thrown in there.
And you don't have to do this alone. You can do this
No,
with
you
friends.
can do it by yourself. You can do it with a few friends.
And you know how many waves? I think it's
15.
I've never beat it, so I
It's-
don't actually know.
15 waves. So depending on how like you count the waves in
I
terms of
cannot beat Pirate Swarm. It's my secret.
That's
shame.
your initiation.
secret
it's
shame.
pirate shame.
Pirate shame.
And I just exposed myself that I've never actually beat Pirate Swarm. But if you do beat Pirate Swarm, you get badged with a special badge that will enable you to check out the pirate version of a Caterpillar. And I do have to say, for a company that's not supposedly selling to pirates, the fact that there is a pirate version of the Caterpillar seems a bit suspect to me.
Right, that's an aftermarket thing.
What's an aftermarket?
Oh yeah, our customers do what they
so
want
it's
with the
an
ship.
aftermarket.
What you do with them is it's your business.
Yeah, that's your business.
From the Caterpillar, we went to a revamp last year of the Cutlass. And the Cutlass is arguably the most popular Drake ship that's in the lineup. Talk to me about working on the Cutlass. What is the Cutlass?
It's this sort of, I guess the official term is this militia ship. So it's a bit of again, it's multi-role. It's got some cargo space. It's got a lot of guns, so it can do combat.
From a gameplay perspective, who's the Cutlass for?
Elwin mentioned like versatile and versatility.
It's everybody.
It's something for everyone really there. It's like the Connie has that multi-crew experience. You can do a slightly smaller scale version of that with the Cutlass. So you've got those two seats with the two screens, able to do all the ship functionality. You've got a turret to use. You've got that cargo bay area, so you can haul cargo. You can put some small vehicles can get up that ramp. It's got those side raiding doors for ease of access in and out.
And you can put troops in the back.
Yeah, just literally
There's
clown car them in.
6 jump seats in the back of the Black.
There are. And of course, we also have variants of the Cutlass coming online later.
Blue and the red.
Blue and the red. And so the black, which is, so loved and beholden for pirates, we have the Cutlass Blue, which is a police cruiser.
Yeah, it's like the militia police.
It's like Drake playing both sides of the equation.
I think it's very fitting.
That's great for a manufacturer.
I think it's very fitting.
Supply both sides.
Now, while the Caterpillar and the Cutlass can be operated solo, the other end of the spectrum, we've got single-seat ships like the Buccaneer and the Dragonfly. Talk to me about the Buccaneer.
Buccaneer is this great little light fighter, really agile, got those huge engines to make it nice and fast. Like a lot of Drake things, it's very well armed. The trade-off being it's a bit made of paper, like we've talked about.
Like actual paper, not metaphorically
actual,
paper.
Like as close to paper as metal can get. Like that thing falls apart with a stiff breeze. But if it gets its guns on target, and the guns themselves, like there's a variety of loadouts, so it has that spinal mount which can take a size 4 gun on there, or twin S2s.
Yeah, it is twin
so
S2s.
You can all go all one huge gun, or just smattering of smaller guns everywhere. Really packs a punch. I don't want to say that tagline.
Punches above its weight class?
That one.
And then the Dragonfly, our introduction of an entirely new type of vehicle to Star Citizen, the space motorcycle. What do you think about the Dragonfly? What were your thoughts? When we first revealed a space motorcycle, what were your thoughts?
I want to build that. That was my first thought.
That sounds cool.
I think a lot of us felt that way.
Yeah.
Sadly, I didn't get the opportunity to, but it was really cool to see that ship come together, because I think some of the finish of the exterior of that ship is going to start influencing ships moving forward. So I believe the Vulture looks like it's taking a lot of cues from the Dragonfly. So it's really helping that one ship is really helping to sort of really solidify the Drake style on the exterior of ships.
And the most recent addition to Drake's pantheon of spaceships, the Drake Kraken. Now, the Kraken was a ship that we actually allowed the community to vote on last year in our You Pick the Next Drake ship, and it lost.
Yep.
It lost.
It was ahead for a long time, and then there was.
But in the end, we came up with the Vulture.
Yep.
The Kraken lost. Why did we make the Kraken?
So it was a really interesting idea. We don't have any big carrier ships outside the Idris, really, and we wanted that variety of things. And Drake are sort of the masters of doing something the same as someone else, but on a completely different level. One of my favorite things that I want to do with it is essentially like boarding parties and landing parties. So in days of old, pirate ships would pull up into a harbor and send all their stuff out.
The sloops.
Yeah, you can do that because this thing can land. So it just lands planetside somewhere, launch all your ships, launch all the Dragonflies out of it, and just go do some raiding.
Yeah. Or that even more terrifying visual, like if you're planetside and a Kraken is coming down, and then you see the ships swarm out from over, that's going to be quite a sight.
Actually, when I saw the commercial, as soon as I saw all the ships sort of take off of it and start attacking, it instantly reminded me of initially what made me super excited about this game, where it's I'm going to come in with my entire clan and we're all just going to deploy from this one spot and attack the mission, whatever that mission is. So for me, it probably would be to do exactly what they did in the commercial. It's just fly with all my friends and then go on missions as we do it.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up day 5, Drake Interplanetary. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing the stories about Drake and our Star Kitten, and any opportunity to troll Nick Kearsley, I will always jump at. So, yeah, I'll let you get back to work, everybody. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks to Jack Sparrow and crew. Now get in the game and check out those Drake ships. Remember, each manufacturer's ships will only be available for 24 hours.
Wow, I had forgotten about that episode.
That
It had some memory. That was the infamous makeup episode and the punches above its weight class episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to remind people. Thank you for that. Mr. Thunder, thank you for the 5 gifts. I appreciate it. I just want to remind people that we are having a giveaway, but we'll be doing that later. We'll let you know when it's live. So, I heard someone say they wanted to spend all the time in the Drake ship in that video, but at least until you need to use the restroom.
Yeah.
So, Paul, what do you think of the video? That brought back the memories for you?
Jared looks so young. I hate to say it. But man, Jared looks so young. It's weird seeing them so young. And it was only like 4 years ago. It wasn't like
4 years ago.
That's
That's what the beard can make. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact that we've all aged 50 years since 2020. Like that's
yeah, right.
We've aged him.
Yeah.
The community.
I think. But yeah, the gosh, that reminds. I mean, the fact that like back then they had the Buccaneer, the Cutlass, the Caterpillar, and the Dragonfly, and I think they had a Herald. They hadn't mentioned it, but there was the Herald there by that time. And they I remember I was actually at CitizenCon when they announced the Kraken.
Right.
So this was like right after that. And yeah, no. It was interesting to hear it. And of course, I think wasn't this the episode that infamously everyone said that John Crew hates Drake? Isn't this the episode that caused that, or has that happened before then?
I don't remember. I don't recall that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be. Yeah. Do you remember why they said it?
No, it's just the joke we came over that John Crew hates Drake. Like that's why.
No, the thing John Crew hates, he hates the Endeavor. That's what he hates. That's the ship he hates. Go ahead.
His new hatred.
New hatred, yeah. Yeah, Kalrati, what do you think of the video? You brought back some memories?
Yeah, it was very reminiscent. I remember one of the first ships that I tried that I put back on the shelf because I just couldn't take its rotating thrusters was the Drake Cutlass, and seeing the anniversary discussion and seeing their thoughts on all the ships, it was really nice to look back and see how far we've come. I definitely remember when we got the Dragonfly. It was really nice to see that hover bike in action. I know lots of prisons were excited to see it. Of course, I kind of wanted it at first to go faster because of the whole nostalgia with Star Wars and those things. But eventually we eventually got that experience, But it was really nice to see and hear their discussions, and of course the baller guy. As soon as I see Josh Coons, we haven't seen him. I think he's still at CIG, right?
I think so. I haven't heard about him.
Yeah,
it's just Coons works in Austin, so I've met him a couple of times in person. He is a lot more chill than he is. He's actually, I should say, he's as chill as he looks on camera.
He's definitely a chill guy.
Yeah.
You can tell from the interviews he gave. But go ahead, Kalrati.
Yeah, well, that's about it, really. It was nice to see it. I actually, when they mentioned the Buccaneer, that immediately came into my mind because I haven't flown the Buccaneer in like a year or something. It's like, oh, I gotta try it again and see, if it's reliable. I think in some way it's still a reliable light fighter, but I haven't tried it in some time. But yeah.
So I forgot to ask. I normally asked you at the beginning of the show, but how many Drake ships do you have, Kalrati, in your hangar?
So my history when it comes to ships. I've recycled all of the Drake Cutlass ships. I don't have any in my hangar currently, but I have experienced all of them. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Paul?
I'm looking right now. I know I have the Corsair and I have the Cutlass Red. I don't have. I think that's about it, though. Yeah. And I have a Dragonfly, so I have 3.
No Drake Mules?
No. I'm. It's one of those. My rule with things like that is that since it's in game, I'm sure it'll be purchasable like 318, and it'll be pretty cheap because it's a nice little trip. I like it, but I'm gonna buy it in game, kind of thing. So
my first Drake ship was probably the Dragonfly Yellow Jacket, but back in the day. But I've since melted it. And I'm probably going to get it in game. But I have a few mules. I don't want to say a bunch, but I have a few mules I'm using as LTI tokens and for giveaways and such. So that's about the only Drake ship I have at the moment. But we're giving away a Drake Vulture that's coming out of my buyback later on. So that's the other thing. All right. So speaking of the Dragonfly, let's talk about the Dragonfly. So, Kalrati, do you have the doc up? Can you read the description for the Dragonfly for us, please?
Yeah, sure thing. So the Drake Dragonfly. The Drake Dragonfly is the perfect snub ship for anyone looking to live on the edge. With nothing separating the pilot from the dangers of space, the Dragonfly is as much an adventure as a ship. Dual mode conversion allows the Dragonfly to operate on the ground or in space. And a rear-facing second seat means you can even take a passenger. This black model is Drake's standard production version. Should I go over the Yellow Jacket and Star Kitty?
Sure.
All right. So the Yellow Jacket. This exclusive Yellow Jacket version is available only for the concept sale. I'll let you guys guess what color it is. And the Star Kitty, or aka the Star Kitten. The Dragonfly Star Kitten is a special edition of the Dragonfly Black. It was obtainable as a referral reward in the 2017 referral contest. It is a 2-person grav-lev bike manufactured by Drake Interplanetary.
Yeah, I missed my chance to get this stuck in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I knew about it, but it slipped my mind, and I didn't get one. But I like I said, I did have the Yellow Jacket. Paul, which one of these is your favorite of the Dragonfly?
Probably the Yellow Jacket. I mean, obviously you can't go wrong with Star Kitten, but it's so rare to find a Star Kitten.
Right.
But I just love the clashing aesthetic of this cutesy, Hello Kitty style character with the manufacturer that is well known for being a pirate manufacturer.
it's very mature, but something meant for kids.
It's like seeing like an M1 Abrams tank painted out to be like with like SpongeBob on the side,
Yeah. Exactly. So. How about you, Kalrati? Do you have a favorite of the Dragonfly?
Yeah, definitely the Yellow Jacket for me also. I actually have it in my buyback as well, but it definitely struck out to me. I mean, I like the standard black edition, for if I want to, go for a run, because I had that one in game, and just have like the matching thing with my Drake ship. But the Yellow Jacket has always stood out for me, and I think eventually I'm gonna pull it back into my hangar, into my account, and just to build on the Star Kitten, that definitely reminded me when I first saw it of, I'm not sure how many of you played Ace Combat 6, but there was this paint pack that was released for these fighter aircraft where the paint represented Idolmaster anime girls, and you could actually attach it to or apply the skins to your ship. So that immediately, made me remember, okay, that's quite the contrast, having a Starkin on something that kind of, represents the quote unquote pirate life,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Dragonfly, especially the Yellow Jacket, will always have a special part and a special place in my heart because in 2018 in Austin CitizenCon, they had a 3/4 size model of the Dragonfly that we could get on and pose pictures on, and I got on one with Miss Hart in the back, and we posed a picture, and it was made by GR Fabrication. I don't know what effort it took to make all that and put it together and bring it over here, but it must have been a Herculean task. And as far as I know, one of the officers still has it, but I'm not sure which office has it and it put together or probably installed someplace. But do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. I remember those. So
Did you get your picture taken on one, Paul?
No, I didn't. But I did enjoy Darge was the one who was taking those pictures too. I remember that. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Remind me.
Go ahead.
Real quick, was the Yellow Jacket the first reveal or in-game reveal we saw of the Dragonfly? When they had that.
One of them, yeah. I think the Dragonfly is like the first
the freelancer, I think.
Vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the first ground vehicle. Yeah.
Right.
The 2015 or 2016 Citizen Con, when he pops onto the Dragonfly, it's the yellow jacket.
Right. Yeah, it was in the container, and yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that ship had some history. The vehicle has some history. All right. So up next we have the Mule, as everyone's most current favorite LTI token. Kalrati, what do you think about the Mule?
I really like the Mule. I'm very curious. I've tried it in game. You could actually, when you buy, if it's close to an outpost, you can actually order one UEC, and it actually fits in the back. And you could actually put, the boxes on the side, even though the cargo grids isn't actually functioning right now until the cargo system refactor comes online. I can definitely see it having some purpose out in the verse. Maybe not necessarily as much as I think it would, in 3.18. Like a quick scenario is, let's say there's a no-fly zone, right? And you have to go a large distance. You have a couple of mules, a couple of friends, go large distance because your ship can't fly in that no-fly zone. Grab your cargo, come back. So I can definitely see it having some good purpose, especially in a convoy. But yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing it fully being realized. With regards to the cargo in 3.18. So yeah, I hope and I anticipate that it, even in game, it wouldn't be very expensive, like Paul had mentioned.
Yeah, how about you, Paul? What do you think about the Mule?
I think it's one of those things and one of those ways that CIG is pushing the game towards its final envision. It's obvious that in like 2016. The development team sat down and tried to figure out what do we want to see this game become. And the Mule is one of those kind of landmarks in there. And I'm probably over exaggerating it, but I'd say it's a landmark because it is a vehicle that's just totally designed to move cargo. And the thing to remember about this is that in the future, everything is going to have some sort of resource cost. Your suits are going to have oxygen and power. And maneuvering fuel, your tractor beams are going to have battery power that are going to have to go out and you have to recharge them. So the Mule is one of those vehicles where it's small, it can fit into most medium cargo vessels. So if you wanted to unload something and you don't want to have to carry a backpack full of batteries with your tractor beam, and you need to go any kind of distance beyond, like say, a kilometer. Then the Mule is perfect for that role. You load the Mule up, you put it onto your ship, and then when you fly over to wherever else, you hop in your Mule, you fly over to the location, you drop it off, and you're good to go. Or you have it at your base where you can just easily unload larger crates pretty fast. You not have to worry about the high infrastructure of having to recharge batteries every 10 minutes. So it's good.
One thing I like about the Mule, it's very maneuverable. It's turned on a dime, as people say. And a very tight turn radius. I'm looking forward to, in the future, I'm hoping they do this, but I'm looking forward to Mule races. What is that race, the big race called in January?
Demo Rally?
Yeah, Demo Rally. I'm looking for a Mule category. People can just race the Mule for 26 kilometers across the Demo. So I don't know. I may even participate in that if that really comes true. How about you guys?
Yeah, instead of capture the flag in some games, you'll have capture the cargo, because with cargo system refactor, you're gonna have these mules just going to the cargo. Okay, capture the cargo. Okay, we just zipped it in. You have to go to this checkpoint without anyone taking our cargo. So
I'm looking forward to that too. What I'm really looking forward to is the eventual conversion of the Mule to be a military version. The Mule Steel, where you just put a giant size 3 cannon on the back, rip out the back area, and just have one position for a size 3 cannon or a missile pod.
As soon as Paul said military, I was thinking Mule Steel, but I was going to wait to see it.
Mule Steel. Mule Steel, baby. And it has half the armor, is super slow, but it's got a big cannon on it, and it can kill an Ursa in one shot.
And instead of being $45, it'll be $100, right?
Oh, God.
$155. Yeah.
You're gonna kill me.
That's U.S. dollars, by the way. U.S. dollars. Mule Steel, I love it. All right. So up next we have the Buccaneer. So I'll take this one. Oh shoot. Well, let me read what they say about the Mule first. So they call the Mule stubborn, but we can say that they just don't know when to quit. The Drake Mule is your go-to workhorse for all sorts of loading and hauling jobs. It sticks to a beast of burden that's always determined to execute the mission at hand. Whether you need a transport ship to transport cargo over the roughest terrain possible or load it onto larger vessels and cargo deck. The Mule works, plain and simple. All right, so the Buccaneer. Paul, you want to take that one from me, please?
Sure. The Buccaneer has been designed from the ground up to fly and fight the way you live. No leather interiors or hyper pillows here. The Buck is a scrapper designed to maneuver and fight above its weight class. This rough and tumble frontier fighter can be maintained in the worst of conditions in order to keep it real working space crews alive. In order to keep real working space crews alive. There you go.
Okay, so that's where the above its weight class comes in, because I thought it came from that episode, but no, the Buccaneer's always been
punches
advertised as being above its weight class. So, Paul, what do you think about the Buccaneer? Do you have one? You already said you don't have one, but what did you think of it?
I used to have one. I used to own one, and I used to love it because it's the one of the epitomes of Drake's design, which is we don't need safety when you've got more guns and speed than anyone can legally be able to attach to their ship in any other way. It's a flying gun platform that has speed. It's not as maneuverable as other light fighters, but it's if you like DACA and you like to go fast in a straight line, it's a fantastic ship. And I think this goes with all Drake ships. I think the real key for it is when it needs to be fixed in the future. You won't require very fancy alloys. It'll be pretty basic to fix, in terms of the materials needed to fix it. Pretty common, and it'll probably be very cheap to fix. So at the end, this is kind of like you want to live on the frontier, but you don't want to have a Gladius. This will work. So,
all right, cool. Thank you. Kalrati, what are your thoughts about the Buccaneer?
Yeah, I just want to, build on what Paul said about that thing about, it being, cheap to fix, because, one of the things that I guess, eventually we'll admire about, the Drake ships, especially the Buccaneer as a light fighter, is the ability to access parts when it comes to repairing and even reclaiming our ships. Let's say, that's theory craft real quick, but I think this is something that's also going to be tied in the game. We know that materials and resources are going to be dependent location-wise based on where Quanta goes, within the quantum system. And if you lose your ship and you're somewhere where resources are limited, then who knows? Maybe that that Buccaneer may be easier to reclaim because those resources are recyclable. They're easy to come by. So the reclaim time may be shorter compared to your Gladius or even your Origin ship. So that's one of the things that I've always admired about Drake and by extension the Buccaneer. That utilitarian kind of, down to earth, straight to the point kind of design. And I definitely remember when I first got it, I really, really enjoyed it. I don't have it even in game, but this is something that I think that I really want to get back to, even to purchase it in game to see how it's, how it's faring compared to say, the HRT bounty missions and those things that I find myself using the talent for these days.
So this is a light fighter. I'm guessing. I'm not really familiar with the Buccaneer. It's a light fighter.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a light fighter interceptor.
Right.
Light fighter interceptor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in the same range or same weight range as the Gladius and L. Yeah, I don't really see people talking about the Buccaneer that much. And when it comes to light fighting, so for me, I think the Buccaneer is false advertising because it has no ears and it costs way more than a buck.
Oh my god!
You knew it was coming, folks. You knew it was coming.
Now it's Paul.
Yep.
Now it's Paul's turn with the puns. I can already see it.
It's gonna happen.
All right, so up next we have the Herald. Kalrati, you want to take the Herald, please?
Yeah, sure thing. So the Drake Herald is a small armored ship designed to safely get information from point A to point B. Featuring a powerful central engine for high-speed transit and generating the power needed for effective data encryption or containment, advanced encryption software, and an armored computer core, the Herald is unique among personal spacecraft in that it is designed to be easily cleaned when in danger of capture.
Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, so Kalrati, what do you think about the Herald?
It's a fast ship. But yeah, it's been a while since I've also flown the Herald, but that's obviously because there are some missing key elements that we're still anticipating to come into the game. But based on the ship's description, based on what we've heard, I can definitely see its use, its feasibility in the game when we get things like the importance of data acquisition and those things. And because I know that even here on Soul Citizens, we've talked a lot about intelligence and data and the importance of that throughout the verse. So I think especially when that comes online, it's gonna really, really shine. Even though it's currently sleeping. That's what I gotta say about it.
Okay, cool. And Paul, what do you think about the Herald?
Zoom. She fast. She very fast.
What is the SCM or speed on that thing, if you know offhand, if anyone knows?
I want to say it's around 1200.
1200, okay.
1300. Yeah, it's the fastest ship in the game. Like straight line, no one's going to catch you. It's just an engine with a cockpit on it. I think it's still waiting for its gameplay. That's effectively what it is. It's a drag racer that's waiting for its other things to do with it. Yeah, it's a great ship. I don't know why it's called a Herald though. It's not named Herald.
No, it's called the Cutlass Herald, right?
Yeah, it's Cutlass Herald.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called a Herald either. But yeah, I don't have anything to say about this work. Like I know it's a data runner, but instead of the Herald, I have the MSR for that one. So that's pretty my need. For one, it has facilities. Does this have a facility or it's a Drake ship? So I'm guessing not. But does it have facilities in it, or is it just like you said, an engine with a cockpit on it?
It doesn't have an ejection seat. No, it's got a secondary seat inside of it. That's for the data running. But that's about it.
I'm getting a little birdie in my ear saying I should learn how to pronounce the Herald. That's the way I learned how to pronounce it. And people in chat, thank you for that. They're saying Ken Gopher says it's 1361 and Captain Jones says 1361, so it's pretty fast. So yeah. And Ken Gopher says it is an injection seat.
It is an injection seat. Yeah.
All right. So up next we have the Cutlass series. I guess this is on me. So the Cutlass Black, Drake Interplanetary claims to Cutlass Black is a low-cost, easy-to-maintain solution for a local and system militia unit. The larger than average cargo hold, ROI, return on investment. No, that's not it. The real seat and a dedicated tractor mount are customary company literature and shit for facilitating search and rescue operations. I want to start over and do that over again. Drake Interplanetary claims that Cutlass Black is a low-cost, easy-to-maintain solution for local energy system militia unit. The larger than average cargo hold, RIO, seat and dedicated tractor mount are the company literature and shit for facilitating search and rescue operations. There you go. So yeah, I like I said, the Cutlass Black was one of the first ships in the game. It was on the original Kickstarter. It had a package. You said the loot and scoot. That's what it was.
Yeah, loot and scoot.
Yeah, so it's way back in 2012. So this is one of the granddaddies of them all. And no, I was never really a fan of the original Cutlass because I didn't really like the look. but I do like the look of the new the rework version. So how about you, Paul?
I like the new one. It's all right. I have to say this: the Drake Cutlass Black is my favorite ship in Star Citizen, hands down, forever and ever. Amen. It is the most useful ship for anyone to have, no matter who you are, no matter what you want to do. The Drake Cutlass Black will do it for you. It's not going to do it well, and it's going to try to kill you while you're doing it. But the Cutlass Black is where I get the term. There are two types of Drake pilots: the good ones and the dead ones. That's it.
Okay.
You're either good or dead. You know. And as Chat's saying,
I know which one I am.
RIO stands for Radar Intercept Officer. It's supposed to be an old term for the secondary person who operated the radar.
Thank you.
Systems.
I was like, what is RIO?
They use before when they couldn't integrate like all of the systems into one, they had a back officer. I think was also like a gun officer. Like they often locked and fired the missiles using the radar systems. So. Something like that, but
right now,
the F-14s have a little bit for them too. So, what's up?
Thank you. Right now, we're trying to cut this Black video. You remember this one, 2945? What are your thoughts? Memories?
Oh gosh, the music is so perfect. I love whenever you can get Pedro. When you get Pedro Camacho to do music that isn't just a straight orchestral, it always shines because it's like, oh yeah, Pedro Camacho wrote this music. You know, it's great. So
yeah, Roller Cup said this is Sandy's first gig. I don't want to say it's her first gig, but it's her first gig in Star Citizen, I believe. Not including Squadron 42. And Spartan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the follow.
What do you think about the Cutlass Black and this commercial?
Yeah, those thrusters, man, those caught me, and when I tried them in Arena Commander, it hurt me, man. But I'm very glad for the rework. I kind of wish, that in some cases the engines did properly function. Who knows? Maybe if they tried it now, it may have. But I'm definitely satisfied with the Cutlass. In fact, after the wipe that we got last year, the first ship that I bought that wasn't a single seat fighter. I think it was the second ship that I bought was the Drake Cutlass Black, because I just wanted to, like Paul said, it's just so useful. You can do pretty much everything in it, except use the bed because beds can be very unreliable. So don't use the bed. But it was really nice, especially when it has its own locker. It has two lockers that has the whole external inventory. So I had fun, using that too. So it has pretty much everything that you would need. You just gotta make sure that your insurance is up to date because you're most likely gonna die like 2 seconds in after doing a mission in it. But I really, really enjoy using that ship. And I think after the next wipe, whenever that comes, the Drake is definitely going to be the next or the first ship that I'm going to buy in game, because currently I have the cold fire paint because I love that paint on the Cutlass Black. I just absolutely love it. And it just matches so well. I have the Drake, the Dragonfly as well, and it just fits there. It's such an amazing ship. It's not my favorite, but it's such an amazing ship. I love it.
Now, one thing about this commercial people may not remember is that it had a little bit of deviation from how a Cutlass really operates. It had those rotating thrusters. So people, how big of a deal do you think that was for people that it wasn't like that when it really came to flying it?
Well, it sold me, so.
Well, the thing is, people forget that it was actually that way.
Yeah.
When it first came out. It was.
First came out.
Yeah, when it first came out, it actually had those engines. Because it whenever you turned it, the engines would flop around back and forth like they were like they were trying to swim. Like you could propel yourself just by the movement of the engines, whether they're on or not. Because literally it was your ship. If you turned left, right, you think, oh yeah, like this. It shows it kind of like you turn left or right. But if you did a hard turn, like you would go foof, 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 foof. So you'd just be like, your ship would be like rotating back and forth, and your engines would be flipping like crazy. And that's the reason why. The reason why they got rid of they got rid of it, is the reason why we don't have that on the Freelancer. Because the Freelancer originally had that as well, where it would flip to land. So they got rid of it so they could so it wouldn't be as like distracting,
annoying.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance they'll come back?
Yeah, I think there's a chance they'll probably maneuver it a little bit, but like or change it a little bit, but in a rework, just like the Freelancers tilting engines at some point. It still does have the tilting engines, just only for the hover mode. So,
all right. So up next we have the red. Paul, you want to take the red for me?
It's an ambulance.
No, I mean the description.
Oh, yes. All right. Is there a doctor in the house? The Cutlass Red converts the standard cargo hold of the to hold a well-equipped medical facility, including 2 medical beds. This starbound ambulance features the Nav-E7 long-range scanner and Secure Plus docking collar, making it ideal for search and rescue. This model contains emergency light bars and a red emergency-themed paint job for easy identification. So yeah, that's the red. It's an ambulance. It's great. It's it used to be much better because it could respawn, but I think now that medical gameplay is in, it'll start to really shine more as like we start to see NPC medical missions and those sorts of things. And the fact that it can pair well with things like the Endeavor means a lot. So
if we ever get the Endeavor, yeah, I'm bitter about that.
Eventually.
So yeah, Kalrati, do you have any thoughts about the Cutlass Red?
Yeah. I can definitely echo the sentiments there. Where because the whole the bed is no longer a respawn bed. There was some kickback, but I think eventually as we continue, the usability of the bed, whatever state it may be in right now, is going to shine, especially as we get persistence in those and get more activity within a certain area, right? Because right now, we have let's say 1 bunker, and then you have to fly to another place, completely away to do another mission, and but what I'm envisioning, the usability and effectiveness of the Cutlass Red to be, especially when it comes to persistence and more activity within a certain area, is when you have a lot more injured persons, lying around. You're going to need ships like these to just zip in and zip out very quickly, in between, whatever gunfire, etc. And it's small enough, it's not, very large. So you can have a bunch of these, attending to many different persons within a small confined area space, and it's going to be pretty useful. The more things like these come online, especially since we have with the medical gameplay, they kind of prolonged the time it takes to bleed out. So you have more time to actually go to this ship or go to ships like these to be healed. You don't have to bleed out quickly and then have to rely on a ship bed to respawn. So I can definitely see small and compact utilitarian rugged ships like these having a healing bed to be able to attend to players and NPCs that need that in the battlefield, or even in scenarios that we just need to be healed. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to remind people, in Clip Chat, we are taking questions. So you click the clip down below and submit a question using that. We'll take them at the end of the show. So go ahead and submit the questions if you have any. As far as Mike talks about the red, it's red, so it has to be the fastest Cutlass of them all, right?
Actually not, sadly.
Oh,
Sadly, it does not work on orc logic. Otherwise, it would be the fastest one.
Damn it.
The blue is faster, only slightly.
Blue is faster. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of the blue, Kalrati, can you give us the description of the blue, please?
Sure thing. So the Cutlass Blue, sleek, mean, and royal. The Cutlass Blue adds missiles, a more aggressive engine, and Durasteel holding cells in the cargo bay to the standard model. The Cutlass Blue is the Outworld militia standard ship of choice for patrols.
Yeah, whenever I see the blue, it reminds me of those sirens and everything like that. I have to come to a complete stop and put my hands at 10 and 12 or 10 and 2 and make sure I'm okay. Yeah, Kalrati, what are your thoughts about the blue?
Yeah, I like it. It'll be nice to to see. Does the blue have sirens in some way? Okay. Because I was actually wondering, since we haven't really been stopped. Well, I think I remember you before they used to have the UEE or security used to use Cutlass Blues, but I think that they don't really right now. They just rely on the Avengers and those things. But it was nice seeing them, and it'll be nice, especially in Pyro, for example, some factions just using the Cutlass Blue, which will be kind of strange. You'd think that criminal factions will just rely on the Cutlass Black, but who knows? There won't be such a thing as good and bad anymore. So you'll be stopped by a Cutlass Blue from some of the faction in Pyro. And you're seeing these sirens just asking you to stop because we don't allow UEE scum around here. So you better hand over your ship. And Cutlass Blue is taking your ship away from you. That's going to be quite strange.
Yeah, Kalrati, if you watch the commercial, it's coming up, I think, but you see the sirens. I mean, they didn't have the noise, obviously, but it had the red and blue light. So,
Right.
Paul, what do you think about the blue?
The blue is really going to shine when we have more Bounty Hunter gameplay, like Bounty Hunter V2. The blue is going to be very, very good. It's got more range than any other ship that has holding cells. It has a little bit of cargo space. It has space for at least 2 people to live in long distances. It's a fantastic ship. It's faster. It's more maneuverable than the typical Cutlass. It's just a better Cutlass, is what it is. It lacks the cargo capacity. But yeah, it's going to be very cool. It's a thematic ship. The only downside it has is that the sirens don't make noise. If we had some sort of classic noise, even in space, I don't care if it's realistic or not.
I was going to say, how does that work in space, Paul?
I mean, we hear lasers in space, so
yeah, we hear those things. Why can't I hear them when I'm thinking like, woo,
Well, but how about this? You can make the noise yourself.
Yes, I can.
overcomes.
Overcoms is the plan.
All right, so I think we have the Drake Steel, and I'll take this one. Drake knows that it is a dog-eat-dog verse out there. Away from the so-called protection of the UEE, the law of the jungle prevailed. Whoever has the gun and the personnel to make the rule. Drake had your back in both these departments with the Cutlass Steel. The Cutlass Steel, the infamous Cutlass Steel. I like to say, I don't have much to say about this. When it came out, I was really surprised at the price. That's about all I can say about that. How about you, Paul?
The Cutlass Steel is the most Drake of all Drake ships. It is the perfect example of Drake. It is cheap. It's a cheap knockoff of better ships, and that's why it's so good. And it's so bad at the same time. Its price is bonkers. Its price, these real world price, like you pay way too much for it for a worse Cutlass, for the worst Cutlass. It's slower. It's less armored.
I should have the page up. What was the price, or what is the price? Do you remember?
It was $250, I think, or something like that, or $230. Yeah, it's. I was expecting it to be a little expensive, but I wasn't expecting it to be like 3 times or twice the price of a Cutlass Black. Yeah, $235. Yeah. But fun fact, you can buy a Cutlass Steel in game, and it's cheaper than the Cutlass Black.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. It is about about 100 to 80,000 UEC cheaper than the Cutlass Black.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Kalrati? What are your thoughts about the Steel?
I really appreciate Drake having that whole drop ship kind of thing with the multiple seats and such. On the commercial, it looked really good. I still haven't, really. I'm sure there will be a lot of uses for it right now. But since no one's really been using it, I haven't really been seeing or being able to envision properly its place in the verse just yet. Even though based on it being a dropship and having all those turrets and such, we can definitely see its place. But in terms of its viability compared to what we have now, it's a bit questionable. But I'm really looking forward to it. Having much more of a presence, especially when um, we get those NPCs landing on planets eventually, and having all those NPCs just flood out of a Cutlass Steel. That is definitely going to be one of the ships where I'm sure we're going to be seeing those NPCs come out of. So seeing that kind of sight happen for missions and those things, for ground reinforcements, is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. So yeah.
So this is kind of like the Drake version of the clown car, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when they first announced it, or like had hints of it, I expected it to be like $10 to $15 above the Cutlass Blue. So it really surprised me. I'm not even going to try to say that, but thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow.
Appreciate that. All right, so yeah, that's it for the Cutlass line.
I will say one more thing that I forgot. It's also the Drake bus. Because in the future, if you're going to transport NPCs, that's a lot of seats.
Thanks for the follow.
So, minus all the guns, if you don't have no use for the guns, if you're just transporting people, that's a lot of people to transport. It's like 20 people, 18 to 20 people you can put in there. It's like right now a server, but in the future, like 18 to 20 NPCs from taking point A to point B. Pretty cheap.
Probably more to pack them in like sardines, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for the follow, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you for the subscription. I'm missing a few. So I forgot to say the commercial does look great. The commercial was really impressive. It's CID made commercial, but almost felt fan made in some aspects. But yeah, it was a great commercial. So up next we have the Drake Vulture, I believe. Paul, you're up for this one. Can you give it the description?
Answer to no one. Cut out the middleman and throw caution to the wind. Rip wrecks like a pro and carve out your own place in the great empty behind the stick of this rough and rugged salvage machine from Drake Interplanetary.
Are you trying out for voice acting role, Paul?
I was wondering,
I gotta read it like an ad read, right?
All right.
That's our CIG call me for the Vulture commercial. I got you. When you're out in the black and you need to be reliable, self-reliant. You need to turn for self-reliance. Look no further than the Vulture. Pick your enemies apart and sell from profits. Drake.
And it can be yours for $59,999. All about the Vulture.
It's going to be the people's favorite ship for if you're a salvager. It's the equivalent to the Prospector. It's the salvage equivalent to the Prospector. Everyone who wants to do salvage is going to have one. You'll see them everywhere. The interior is really nice. We got to see it at Drake Defense Con. Everyone on the floor, and it's a very nice ship. It reminds me a lot of the Prospector and the Mole in terms of its interior, which is surprising. It reminded me even a little bit of like the Raft, sharing some of the similar kind of design styles to it. So, yeah.
All right. Pop, you threw me off with the question. Thank you. Kalrati, what do you think about the Vulture?
Yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to it, and a lot of persons are looking forward to in the first version Tier 0 of salvaging, the hull stripping, and it's also introducing a hidden but I think very important mechanic also, which is it's kind of mimicking. It has like a crafting feature. So once you salvage whatever it is that you salvage, you can actually use some of those resources to use for repairing and those things, if I can recall correctly. So that whole conversion from one resource to something that you can use, I think that will be the first time in the game we can actually use a resource that we get using a ship that we wouldn't need to sell. You can use it for some other use. So that's really exciting. That's our first version of, I guess, crafting. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
If I get the Drake Vulture, I'll probably get it in game. I don't think I'm going to spend cash or other type credit on this. But I was a huge salvage in the EVE Online, so I'll probably will get into the salvage game in the PU. But I'll just wait until the game goes live until I get one. So yeah, this probably be my go-to ship for salvaging. Because let's face it, the reclaimer is just way too big and too much ship for people, for most of us to handle, especially solo. So yeah, I'm gonna be using that in the PU. All right. Up next, we have the Corsair. Kalrati, you want to take this one, please?
Sure thing. So the Corsair, heed the call of uncharted space and harness the spirit of exploration with the Drake Corsair. A worthy companion supporting you in battle, discovery, and delivery, wherever the winds of adventure may steer you. Sounds all very prophetic. Drake Corsair, people.
Right. So what do you think about the Corsair?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm looking to see where it stands with its equivalent. I think the persons have been kind of equating this to the RSI Connie, is it? So I'm I'm really taken by the design because I really like the whole non-uniform design when it comes to ships. So I really like it. I don't have it in my account, but I'm definitely looking forward to testing it and seeing how far I can push it in terms of performance and what I can really do with it. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really great ship.
Okay. Paul?
Drake, you explore in this ship. Explore. By explore, I mean you explore the inside of other people's ships.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put this online. It is the Connie killer. Is what it is. It's the Connie killer.
You heard it here, folks.
Really?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's Drake, so it's got this kind of the aesthetic is very nice. It's got better runes than the Connie. It's got a better interior than the Connie because the Connie's old. And it also has this like really good. It's not nearly as gunned as the Connie. It does have some pretty serious gun firepower, but it's pretty easy to kind of disarm it. But it also has just about everything else that the Connie has, but in a better package. So I think more people who are looking for that size of a ship are going to gravitate towards this because I also think it's going to be a lot cheaper than the Connie when it goes, especially in games. So yeah, it's a great ship, especially when we get to Pyro. It's gonna shine in Pyro.
By the way, the views and opinions of Paul Shelley are not representative of Soul Citizen. If you have any complaints, send your email to paulshelley@gmail.com. I don't even know if that's real or not.
I'm gonna I'll state it again in a video, so that way you can come watch the video and complain in the chat in the comments section about how I'm wrong.
Yeah. The most interesting point for me about the Corsair is that it has an interesting price point at $220. I've used it for several jumping off points for CCU, like the CCU from Corsair to a different ship. It's in that sweet spot for the price of a ship. Unfortunately, I would have to wait until the Corsair come back into come back on sale before I can use it because I have to go from different ship to the Corsair. But I would use the Corsair as a CCU. So that's my thoughts about the Corsair. But yeah, it seems cool. I'm gonna see if I can get inside one next time or when it's out so I can explore it a little bit. But yeah, I don't have much to say about the Corsair other than that. All right, so up next we have the Caterpillar. Okay, I'm going to try to get my movie voice on. In a world first introduced in 2871, the Drake Interplanetary Caterpillar has long proven to be a reliable, cost-effective, multi-role vessel, capable of being outfitted for everything from mercantile operation to combat support. Long hailed as a hard-fought alternative to the ubiquitous Hull series, the Caterpillar is a freighter that doesn't skimp on weaponry or customization. Big explosion behind me.
In a world.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Caterpillar, like I said, it's one of the granddaddies of Star Citizen. Along with the Cutlass Black, it was out there, the little Kickstarter. I was never really interested in it because I thought that the cargo to cost ratio wasn't optimal for me, so I never got into it. That's why I got a freelancer instead. But yeah, it's a little ship. What do you think, Kalrati?
Yeah, the first time I saw the caterpillar, I think it was in a ship shape. At least from the developer side when Jared was talking about it with I can't remember the developer's name. And one thing that stood out for me, and I'm really looking forward to it being in game, was the tractor beam. And they showed off how the tractor beam is going to work and those things. Of course, that was their early concept, so who knows how it's going to work now. But that's one thing I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Thanks for the follow.
The caterpillar. And yeah, in game, I've seen a lot of people making use of it. The only thing that kind of sort of irks me a little bit is just the response of the doors. But even on a live server, sometimes it can be a little slow. So maybe that's something that they can work on. But in terms of the performance and those things for the ship that size, I think it's good. I can't remember the in-game costs for it now. But I think based on what we have right now, I think the in-game cost is good. If someone can actually remind us of that. But yeah, I've enjoyed using it so far.
Real quick.
Yes.
In the universe, it's 4,686,600 AUC.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, for reference, let me look up the C2 because the C2 is the other major competitor. It cost 4,900,000, and it's more expensive. The Caterpillar is cheaper. Yeah, Caterpillar is cheaper, but it only has and the C2 only carries about 100 SEU more. Over 100 SEU more. So
I could probably say this for a quick Q&A, but I'll just put this out there now. Do you think there's an anti-tax when it comes to Drake ship? That's why it's cheaper than the other ships, like the anti-tax.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be cheaper. All Drake ships are going to be cheaper, which is why everyone was concerned about the steel, But, but
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what do you think about the Caterpillar, Paul?
Oh, okay. There's a special part in my heart that's...
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
Am I robot-y?
Yeah, robot-y. She doesn't know. I think it's like a dog.
Okay. I don't know if I'm robot-y or not. I just want to make sure. There's a special place in my heart for Caterpillar because I do want at some point to be to open up a bar in the Caterpillar. So the AstroPub will be in a Caterpillar. It's the original idea. But I really like it because it's a couple things. One, it's a cargo vessel. But two, it's a cargo vessel that has flexibility. When we get customization and be able to swap out those modules for other things, the Caterpillar becomes an explorer, a combat ship, a troop carrier, whatever you need it to be, depending on the modules. So it's flexible. It's a really good cargo ship if you want a cargo ship, and it's cheap. It's one of those really good. It's a little bit wonky, and especially can be a little wonky, but it also has, for a lot of people who don't know, the command module can detach entirely and become a completely different ship. Not only does it have a quantum drive on that, but a jump drive on it as well. So it's very, very cool little ship. It's like a mini Kraken in the sense that it can become a floating space station whenever you need it. So
can the other piece of it quantum without the module on it, or
it has modules? It has quantum capabilities, but it doesn't have the control capabilities. So I don't know. You can't fly it without it, but it does have its own jump drive and that kind of stuff. So you could in theory detach the command module, have another command module come up and dock, and then take off with that again if you needed to kind of turn into like a relay ship if you needed to. So.
Thanks for the follow. Yeah, you stole one of the topics I was going to bring about, particularly about the modularity. No problem. Because modularity, thank you for the follow. Modularity was one of the early.
Thanks for the follow.
From CIG, so they built this with that in mind. I'm imagining someone making extremely long. Crocodile, thank you for the sub to Black Sky Legion, and extremely long caterpillar, like say Idris size length when it comes to hauling. Do you think that either of you think that'll be a thing?
No.
No.
I think it's going to always be the same length of the 8 modules. I don't think you can even be smaller. I think you have to have those modules on it to be able for it to fly. Yeah. It'd be cool if you could like reduce it so it's just like one module, so it could be a very much smaller ship if you needed to. But no,
I'm talking about making it really long, like Idris size
I know.
length. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Like, it'd be cool if you could make it smaller because theoretical work. But I think you make it Idris size, it wouldn't be able to fly because it doesn't have the thrusters probably. So, yeah.
We break for no one. That's what I'm expecting in the back.
Yes. Yes.
So Paul, you want to take the pirate version, the description for me?
Sure. In a world. Okay. Drake maintains that the Caterpillar, a sprawling modular spacecraft, which appears at least somewhat like its namesake, is for legitimate commerce and extended search and rescue missions. But this special livery seems to suggest otherwise.
Yeah, it's like they're talking about in the video that we were watching earlier. In order to get access to this module, this variant, you have to beat a pirate swarm and all the waves. I think it goes up to wave 18. So once you beat that, you get access to this and you can purchase it. So
the ability to purchase it.
The ability to purchase it. Thank you. So yeah, either of you have any thoughts about the pirate version of the Caterpillar?
I've got a question for both of you, actually. So, given that CIG has become more mature when it comes to, or developed, or established, I guess, when it comes to releasing paints for ships. Back then, some of the variants that we got, they were more so, paints and those things, and they kind of, referred to that as a variant, like the Gladius, and the Valiant, of course, and the Pirate Caterpillar. Do you think sometime in the future that based on CIG's establishment of what a variant could be versus what a applied paint can be, do you think that there is a chance CIG may revise the Caterpillar Pirate version to have some kind of internal difference than the standard version?
I think so. I could see it for sure ending up with modules being swapped. So instead of it being just a cargo ship, it also has different modules, like a breaching module, or like a chop shop module, or some modules in there which pirates would find useful. It's kind of like an aftermarket kit with the skin for sure. But I think that really depends on what the modules look like and what they have, because we actually don't even know any of the official ideas. We know that some of the official ideas, but we don't know the concepts, like the actual goals. Just they've said things like a recreation module or a troop transport module. They've thrown out ideas, but they've never actually sat down and said we're going to sell this module and this module. They never spelled it out. So yeah, I definitely see that, especially and then increase the price of the pirate more. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe down the line, but definitely not in any time immediately. So yeah, down the line. I would say after Star Citizen launch, after Star Citizen launch.
Yeah.
The question is, will we see something like that before or after? And you never. Not to do it all. All right. So up next we have the Kraken and the Kraken Privateer. I believe it's Kalrati. Give us your best movie voice. Go for it.
The Kraken Privateer is a protector of the beacon. Okay, let me start over. The Kraken Privateer is a protector and a beacon of freedom in a too often cruel universe. For those tasked with safekeeping citizens unable to protect themselves, the Kraken is both a sanctuary and a self-contained war machine, ready to take on the most daunting adventures. Drake has thrown out the rulebook to redefine private use capital class ships, attack carriers, and the very nature of personal freedom is nothing if not a testament to the empowerment of the people.
That's some advert for you. So yeah, Kalrati, what do you thought about the Kraken and the Privateer?
Yeah, it's man. When I saw that the Scorpius commercial. I was kind of excited because I was thinking, okay, maybe they're kind of working on this ship too. But I was like, okay, let me manage my expectations. But that's this kind of Drake-ish capital ship. It's definitely got me excited because we know a lot more about the UEE side, or when I say UEE side, the Aegis, the Anvil, the RSI, those kinds of capital ships. But the Drake, I'm very curious as to how a ship like this from Drake to this size is going to be, because how many toilets is it going to have? A capital ship is going to have one toilet, most likely, and it's not going to have any escape pods either. You have to literally just jump out in space. So I'm very curious to see how feasible it is.
Thanks for the subscription.
So Paul, what are your thoughts about the Kraken and the Privateer?
When I first saw them, I realized they were floating spaceships or floating space stations, like flying space stations, and that's really what they're designed to do. And it's kind of exciting because we're not going to get customized space stations. So the idea of having a Kraken is effectively a space station for an org. It's really like when I first saw it after the fact, when I saw it at the at 2018 CitizenCon, my thought was this is excuse me for using an old anime reference, but this is White Base. This is from Gundam. Like this is like the capital, like the ship that you would use.
I get that reference.
Yeah. It's that kind of like old 80s aesthetic sort of ship designed to be like the home base of the heroes. And the cool thing about it is that it can be anything you need it to be, just like any other Drake ship. It could be a mining.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
It can be a combat ship. It can be an exploration vessel. It can be a colonization ship, or whatever you really need it to be, because it's still got the flexibility of having like a ton of cargo space, and you can put all the ships, as long as they fit on the deck, they can fit there. So it's a pretty cool kind of little package, and because it's bigger, it can jump further and can carry more things. So, yeah.
I was Button. I have to give I was Button a shout out. You just dropped 10 gift subs, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're getting close to our June subscriber though. We're only 3 days ago. 3 days ago. So appreciate that. My thought about the Kraken, I love the video. This video came out, I was like, whoa. And it has to me, I'm not saying for everyone, but to me, it has a Star Wars feel when it comes to battle. So I really love that. And I mean, the cinematic of it, it's like you first see this miner. He's just minding his own business, drinking coffee. Then it comes up, someone trying to take his stuff. Then you see this big ship come by and battle ensues. It was just great. And then at the end, he just sits down and go back to what he's doing. I love that video. So whoever came up with it, props to them. But as far as the Kraken itself, I was at 2018 CitizenCon. I saw the model. That was JR Fabrication too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the.
Go ahead.
I said a lot of the painting was done by who were at the time streamers who played Star Citizen and like so yeah. They've been painting all of those minis for hours, so for days.
Yeah, I don't know which office got to take that home, but I hopefully it stayed in Austin or someplace. I mean, I can imagine hauling that from place to place to place. So yeah, that was great. So I mean, what would you say the size of it was, Paul? It was like 5 feet. The model.
Yeah, easily between 5 and 8 feet. It was the size of a typical like dining room table. It was an insane ratio. It was like 1/16 or like 1/30 the size or something like that of the actual one. So
let's say between 5 and 12 feet, just to be safe. I mean, I know that's a huge range, but going back from memory, it's
hard to.
big.
It was huge. It was huge. So
yeah. So yeah, as far as the privateer goes, when the privateer was announced, I was excited because it was another shopping mall ship, and I'm really interested in that sort of gameplay because I already had the Metametron, and the Metametron I got it for $250. I think at the time.
You said Banu Merchantman? I can't understand that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll save it for the end. How about that? I'll save it for the end. Yeah, but I had the benefit when I got it for $250. I think it was $300 at the time. So when the privateer was first announced, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it'll be. Cause the Kraken one, I want to say $1,700. I tried looking up the price on the RSI website, but it's more than $1,000, so it's not listed. So I don't want to say the Kraken was $1,700. I expected the privateer to be cheaper because it's specialized, and I expected it to be like maybe $1,200. I was like, maybe if it's $1,000, I may get a privateer. No, it was $2,000 with RSI credit. I'm like, nope, I'm just keeping up Metametron. Thank you.
Yeah. It's $2,000. It's huge. $2,000. It's like I said, it's a floating station. It's like one of those L point stations.
So yeah, maybe somewhere down the line, like 5 years after the game launch, I'll think about getting a Kraken privateer to fulfill that dream, but not anytime soon. All right, so thank you for everyone for that. I think that the Kraken and the privateer was our last step, so we're going to go to our Q&A session. Then we'll have our giveaway. So the first question. It comes from Von Cody twice. Would you not say that it's no longer the case with new leadership? Mule, Vulture, and Corsair have a different look and don't seem like a straight Cutlass world. I should pre-read these things before I read them. That's not really a question. That's a statement. You said like this.
I can see that what he's saying though which is for those of you who don't know the lore is that Jan Dredge got in trouble because the other thing that we've kind of danced around is that Drake has this reputation of being cheap. That means that it's cheap for people on the frontier, but also easy for pirates to use. So I don't want to interrupt you because you're Uber Nerd. Hello, Uber Nerd.
Uber Nerd, thank you for rating with 51 viewers. Appreciate it. Today we're talking about Drake Interplanetary. Our special guest today is Paul Shelley, TheAstroPub. So yeah, we're currently in that Q&A. So if you have a question, hit the click button and submit your question. But yeah, we'll talk about Drake Interplanetary today. So you're welcome.
Yes.
Were you done? Oh, go ahead.
I'm almost done. So like as a result, they got a national reputation for being selling to pirates. And then there was a expose where Jan Dredge was interviewed by an undercover reporter and asked about the question about the do they care that cutlasses are being used to kill people, and Jan was basically like, listen, I don't care who buys our ship. If they have the credits, they have the credits. We're not going to go above and beyond. And so she got in big trouble for that, and so she had to be retired. She dropped out of CEO, and then a new guy came in, Andon Arden, I think his name was, who took over the company. And since then, they've done the Corsair, the Vulture, and the Kraken have all been released. So the statement is still kind of there. Do we have a different style guide? I say to a degree, but it's still, the Vulture is still a Cutlass. It's just got a weird canopy. The Kraken is still a Cutlass. It's just a big Cutlass. And the Corsair is the same thing. It's just a Cutlass, but a chunky one with wings. So.
Translation Cutlass. So yeah, thank you for that. We got a question from Joe Bommel. That question is just simple. When, copper. So I'm gonna say soon TM. That's my answer for that one. Black Sky Legion asked, so Drake is for sure built to louders. What flavors best sum up each manufacturer, like Apple, etc., can use any real world analog or in fiction? So what flavor best sum of each manufacturer, like Origin, RSI, and what have you. Kalrati, what are your thoughts?
Wait, repeat that question.
He's asking. Yeah, he's asking like what is the different like? So we know that Drake is very much like the Beltalowda from
right. Yeah, Beltalowda.
It's kind of So what every other manufacturer? What kind of real world analog do they have?
In
comparison.
That's a good question because we've been able to equate, the other ones like, with Origin to BMW or Mercedes or, the freelancers to the Fords, but Drake. Do we have a real world manufacturer equivalent to Drake?
Yes.
Because what's that?
What's that in fiction too? In fiction work.
It's Lauda. I can't say Lauda.
Yeah.
It's a Russian manufacturer.
Okay. See, Kia, go map.
Yeah, go map is saying Kia, Hyundai, Pinto. From Darkwing Muta. Yeah, Pinto probably fits the best in my opinion. That's pretty good. So yeah, but each. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think Twitch chat probably gave the best answer so far. All right.
It's whatever the bip manufacturers are, but cheaper. That's what it is.
Another one from Black Sky Legion. Drake gets a bad rap as pirate ship, but the truth is that most malicious, top independent operators, settlers use it because it's cheap, good, and reliable. Why do people look down on this?
Because people look down on Drake. Because people look down on poor people. That's why.
Manufacturers that are really notorious is like Origin, because why are you gonna fly your Origin ship in my pyro space? You're just asking to raise piracy, right? We're here just struggling to get our resources, and you're here with your fancy ship. You're looking for trouble, and then when we try to get your ship to sell to get parts and money to raise our families, you send in the UEE. So the real notorious manufacturers are actually Origin, right? It's not Drake, right? People who buy Drake are just looking for to survive.
Hey, at the same time, how many Drake ships was Xenothreat using?
Hey, they used what was made available to them. Okay.
They use almost exclusively Aegis ships.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. Even to a degree, even like Ninetales, they do use Cutlasses, but they also use Gladiuses and Hornets and Valkyries, and so like.
There you go. So who's actually selling to Xenothreat, eh?
Yeah, who's selling to Xenothreat? It ain't Drake.
It ain't Drake.
Yeah.
So it's not that people looking down on Drake. Is that the other stuff are just easy to get, maybe.
Mm-hmm. It's because it's kind of like the poor thing, It's like it's the everyman ship, so it's the cheap, but it's not the authorized everyman ship, which is the RSI ships. So it's the more rebellious. We're going to go out in the woods and do our own thing. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm sticking with Banu, because Banu will sell to anyone, buy from anyone. Hey. Up next, we have our last question. This is from Big Black Gaming. Does the panel imagine that once deep module gameplay comes in, that Drake's ship will treat module less well, causing more variation, failure in performance, such as module in Drake's ship? So you think when modularity and stuff comes online, will it cause more variation and failure in performance in Drake's ships?
That's an interesting question because, like, for example, just as how we were talking about with the Caterpillar, for instance, if we get some kind of modularity change, would that cause some change in the power management or even the resource management for the ships? Would it have a higher chance in power running out if we're using a module that requires more power, or even less power? Would it actually be able to fly or perform for a longer time without the systems degrading? So I mean, it all depends on the CIG, I guess, and how intricate they're willing to connect the resource management for the ship to the module. Of course, once again, module will definitely be using some kind of resource from the ship. So it's an interesting question, and yeah, I'm very curious to see if that actually will have some kind of result or an effect.
How about you, Paul?
I'm pretty much in the same way. I don't. It's really hard to tell. I think it depends on the module. I can imagine, like, for instance, you might be able to get a module for a caterpillar that is just a fuel tank that extend its range. You know, just swap out one of those things for just extra fuel, which would be great and give you a little bit more of an advantage. Or even refinery. You know, swap out one of those modules for a refinery. So now suddenly you have the ability to refine fuel on the fly. I feel good. You know,
25. Thank you for the subscription.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
So yeah, it's hard to tell exactly. I do think that it'll almost certainly be a performance hit for some way, shape, or form. But it also might be a performance boost. So.
Yeah, my thoughts are going to come at this from a different angle. Remember, overclocking would be a thing. So that could either make something wear less or probably wear faster when you overclock something and put it in any ship, not just big ship. But yeah, I think in general, Drake is cheap or inexpensive, put it that way. So I think their modules and stuff like that will probably not last as long as maybe like an Origin or RSI module, something in an RSI or module or Origin or even mesh manufacturer ship is in. So yeah, I don't know about breaking down, like you're in the middle of nowhere, suddenly your quantum drive stopped working. I don't know about all that, but yeah, overclocking maybe a contributing factor too, because a lot of people will probably try to take advantage of that. Yeah, Drake reminds you of a pod racer. Yeah, I can see that, especially the Dragonfly. Got to post the image. Okay, yeah. So that was it for our Q&A. Up next, we have our giveaway for the Drake Vulture. So the giveaway code or giveaway keyword. Thank you for the picture of that. Oh, that's the Kraken that they were talking about. Yeah. So that while we're doing it, the giveaway
it
code
gives you perspective. Yeah.
The keyword for the giveaway is !Drake. Hopefully that's already started. So !Drake is going to enter the giveaway. Yes. So yeah, go ahead and put that in. Yep, people are putting that in. So yeah, it's definitely bigger than 5 feet.
Yeah,
my God,
huge.
Yeah, closer to 8 to 12 feet. So yeah, that was a huge thing.
I said a minimum 8 was from the size of it, just because I remember walking around it and saying if I laid down here, it would probably be bigger than I am, and I'm at over 6 foot. So yeah. At that point, it's not a model; it's a museum piece.
Right? Essentially, in a museum, as Indiana Jones like to say. So hopefully, it found a good home. We probably ask like after the show, like I'm gonna. Not bug her, but probably send a tweet say, "Hey, CID, what did the ship wind up being for Tom?"
Well, I know Moist Noodle helped it, and last I heard from Moist was that it was in a box somewhere. I think it's waiting for the new offices to be built, and it's going to be put up in some
okay.
Offices. Okay. So
they actually took it apart and everything. I don't know. Hopefully it'll still be together. And that's the Yellow Jacket picture we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's only 3/4 size. That's not full size.
Yeah,
go ahead, Paul.
That's not the full. As I say, that's not even the full size. It's huge in game. That's just like to give you perspective of the scale of everything in Star Citizen. It's massive. So,
so yeah, everyone. The !Drake is the keyword for this giveaway for a Drake Vulture. So be sure to put that in if you're interested in getting one. I think that's about it. So. It is 6 years insurance, I believe. So yeah, it's not LTI, but it's almost as good as LTI. If you plan to stay in the game for 6 years. So yeah, I think that's it. Kalrati, you want to give a countdown for the giveaway?
Yeah, sure. So I will go from 5 to 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drum roll 0 and FC.
Scavenger 676 has won the giveaway. Scavenger, you there? Say hello. He's most likely here. There he is. What? Yeah, you won, man.
Hey.
Congrats. Yeah, contact us after the show. Well, you'll be around. But yeah, just contact us after the show. You'll get the information. So congrats, Scavenger. All right. So with that, talk about come to the end of the show. Kalrati.
Oh no!
Yeah, I survived the puns, man. I survived you guys. Whew. We good.
So yeah, come watch us on Thursday on YouTube /Soul Citizens, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Friday UTC. We talk what's going on in the community of Star Citizen. Normally we cover ISC, SCL, and anything else that's on the comment and anything else that sparks our interest. And sometimes random stuff like Steam sales and stuff like that. So come join us on Thursday. Kalrati, you want to talk about next week, Saturday, Soul Voices?
Yeah, on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Soul Voices come online. We are always talking about community concerns, be it from Reddit, be it from Spectrum, be it from everywhere. We talk about questions that the community may have, topics that, may be concerned about, development, maybe concerned about ships, the rate of development, all those things. And you have a chance to, voice your own opinions as well. It's available on YouTube Saturdays, once again, 3 p.m. Eastern. Come and join the fun.
And that's 7 p.m. UTC.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, next Sunday, we're having another Soul Citizen talk about tips and tricks. That'll be 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, midnight UTC. Technically, it's Sunday, Monday for that. But yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's our 4th of July show. Well, 3rd of July, actually. But yeah. It's Sunday. So yeah, come check us out. Do you have any tips and tricks you want to share? You can post them in Twitch chat and probably discuss them and we'll share around. So it should be a fun show.
Just a tip.
Also, we have merchandise. So you want to check the link below. You can search about merchandise. We sell t-shirt, mugs, hat, long sleeve shirts, what have you, and it's a great way to support us, and we appreciate it. We also have Patreon. If you want to support us that way, if you're on YouTube, you can click the join, become a Soul Bro, Soul Sister, or Soulmate. And also on social media, with basically Soul Citizen everywhere on social media. So if you click on type in Soul Citizen, we'll likely come up. And with that, I think that's it. Paul, you want to say how again people can find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then you can also find me on youtube.com/TheAstroPub Live for my gaming content, highlights, talking about the game, my captain's table, which you'll find fastcart in every so often, and maybe Kalrati in the future, as well as my office hour streams and other content like that. And if you want the more lore side of Star Citizen, like I talked about with Drake, you can go to youtube.com/TheAstroHistorian to catch all the lore stuff there. So good to see you there.
And like I said, you'll always be Berserker on to me. So hey,
yes,
I know Brandon. Whatever. So thank you again, Paul, for being here. We appreciate it, especially talking this ship for Drake. Kalrati, Paul gave us his favorite Drake ship. What is your favorite Drake ship?
Oh, that is the Buccaneer. Even though I haven't tried it in a long time, Buccaneer definitely.
All right. Thank you. All right. So with that, we're going to raid Yo-Yo Mag. So give us Soul Citizen love from us to Yo-Yo Mag. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you for everyone for joining us and watching, and all the comments and everyone who's in Twitch chat. Peace, love, and soul. Take care, everybody.
Take care, people.
Said it.
It's okay.